right position at the right time, and when all the
It is
chaos
all right.
ensues, hopefully we're up front and out of it.
And we will go ahead and wrap up our driver media availabilities. Joined now by the driver of the number 78 Bass Pro Shops, Tracker Boats Toyota, Martin Truex Jr. Martin, every race here is intense, and your colleagues have talked about that today. And with the chase advancement on the line for a number of folks this weekend, the intensity is going to be ratcheted up. Talk a little bit about how you stay focused for 500 miles in those kind of conditions.
Well, I think for me, it's real easy to stay focused when we come here. This is no doubt one of the toughest races there is, just to stay mentally focused. It's not a physically demanding race, but the mental side of it is pretty insane to be 3-4 wide all day long, especially if you decide you're going to try to stay up front all day and try to race all day and not ever kind of go to the back and try to be in a safe spot. So it's definitely difficult, but I look forward to the challenge and enjoy racing here, enjoy all that goes along with it. Don't always enjoy the results, but it's definitely a fun place. It's a different and unique challenge to what we do every other week, and looking forward to having a good weekend.
Okay, we'll open up the questions for Martin Truex Jr. If you raise your hand, we'll get a wireless microphone to you. Let's start right up front here with Jordan, then we'll go to Bob.
Martin, Jordan Bianchi, SBNation.com. Looking back at the spring and how dominant you were at Kansas and Charlotte, do you feel like perhaps you left some points on the table or even a win the past 2 weeks?
Well, we definitely did. I mean, we didn't perform. We weren't happy with the way things went. Obviously, we had some issues, some mechanical issues going on. But at the end of the day, it's not the way we wanted to perform. We were not happy with the results, and but at the same time, it could have been worse. With the issues we had last weekend, not being able to get fuel in the car, and then the tire rub we had could have been catastrophic. I mean, there was a point there where we almost blew a right rear tire twice, and luckily that didn't happen. So, I mean, we could have easily finished, 38th to 39th, if you really want to look at it that way. So we were able to salvage something. It wasn't good by any means, but, at least we're still in the hunt here at Talladega.
Let's go to Bob, then we'll go to Chris and Jonathan.
Bob Parker, ESPN. How do you balance the feeling of, man, I've had a great season and now I'm kind of right there on the bubble?
It's real easy. Just go race, see what happens. I mean, we're going to make it or we're not. Nothing I can do about it right now. And, no real point in worrying about it until Sunday. So we're going to go race and do the best we can do. Worrying about it, thinking about scenarios and what do you got to do, all these things. I mean, it just doesn't do anybody any good, and I'm already getting enough gray hair. So try to keep it low key, and we'll just go race on Sunday and do the best job we can do, and hopefully move on so we can take advantage of this great team we have, the race cars we have, and the season we've been able to put together. It'd be a shame to lose it all here. So hopefully we can just get it done, and we're going to do the best job we can do no matter what.
We'll go to the right side now.
Jim Utter, motorsport.com. When you look at the performance that you had in the first 3 races, do you think back at this point and say, man, how did we go from that to this? Or is it just kind of more circumstances that you're kind of used to it because things like that have happened throughout the season?
It's a good question. I mean, I don't think you ever get used to it. I think you get better at dealing with it and moving forward and moving on. I think, we really felt that Kansas and Charlotte were going to be 2 great races for us, and they weren't. So hopefully Talladega will be a great race for us because it typically hasn't been. So that's kind of our outlook is just, sometimes you catch breaks, sometimes you don't, but we're prepared to do the best job we can here this weekend. The team brought a brand new race car and putting a lot of effort in, so hopefully it'll pay off for us.
We'll stay on that side with Chris, then Jonathan, then we'll come over here.
Chris Knight, catchfence.com. Martin, how big of a race tomorrow is it for your brother Ryan after finishing second at Daytona?
It's definitely a big race. I mean, every race for him is big at his, this point in his career, obviously. And I think the last 2 super speedway tracks that he's raced a truck, he's finished second. They were both at Daytona. So this will be the first time he's run a truck here, and they hired a new crew chief. They got Sherry, and I call him my brother-in-law, even though he's officially not. He's Sherry's brother-in-law. But Fuzz, he went over there to work. He came from the K&N Series, and so they've got a lot of exciting things going on at that team, and I look forward to seeing some good results. They're really working hard to get ready to put a good effort in for the last few races they have this season and get ready for next year. So it's definitely an exciting time for them, and hopefully they'll get a good result this weekend as well.
We'll stay on the right side of Jonathan, and we'll come over here to Tom and Tom.
Jonathan Merriman, NASCAR.com. Martin, races here tend to take on a personality of their own. Joey was in here earlier saying that he thinks the spring races here are a little more crazy than the fall races here. When you look at the point standings and everything that's on the line, what kind of feel do you get for what kind of race we might see Sunday?
I totally agree that you never know really what you're going to get until the race starts. It does seem like the spring race is always more, more guys pushing, a lot more people willing to, stay in that front and in that really big pack, and less people riding in the back trying to be safe. So, this race, you never know. I mean, the scary part about it is if it is a calm race, then everybody's around at the end and everybody's panicking trying to get to the front in the last 5 or 10 laps, and that's usually when you have the really, really big wreck. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I think for us, my approach really is just hopefully we'll qualify in a decent position, be able to race up towards the front early and stay there all day long. I mean, I think that's your best opportunity, but there's no telling what can happen here. You just hopefully you go race hard, and hopefully a little bit of luck's on your side, and you can stay near the front. That's the most important thing.
We'll come over here to your left, Martin, to Tom.
Hey, Martin. Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. What do you really get out of practice here? What do you learn? Is it worth doing?
It's different for everyone. I think it depends on, what you've been strong here at in the past, or possibly things that you've been working on to get better. It's, for us, we've got a brand new car, so working out little minor details so far, getting the steering right, getting it so it actually drives straight on the straightaways, and getting the splitter contact, and the travel's all sorted out. So it depends. I think it's different for all different teams. Everybody always has something they come here to work on. I've been here before and ran literally 3 or 4 laps of practice and parked it because you kind of had what you had. And you brought the car from last time. You were happy with the way everything went. So it just depends on what you got going on, and I think it's different for everyone.
We'll go to Tom, then Bob.
Tom Menino, WVTM 13. This is the last year before Talladega moves back one spot in this particular chase round. With the unpredictability of the track, are you in favor of that move?
I don't know that it matters. I mean, it's still 1 of 3, so at the end of the day, the points are all the same. It definitely changes your mindset a little bit, at least. You'll know what you'll need to do in the 3rd round, where this is really the wild card of the round. So that's a little bit different, just how you'd approach it. But it's 1 of 3, so I mean, at the end of the day, it's not going to change anything.
We'll go right here in the middle to Bob.
Todd Barrier told me that your car and the JGR cars, being all new, that they went ahead and put in the 2017 rules as far as the floorboard area construction. I mean, did you know that? Could you tell any difference?
You can't tell any difference unless you get under there and really look at it. So everything's fine from where I can see, and obviously the weight's not a big deal here either. So hopefully we don't have to test the safety features of that floor panel, but glad to know it's in there for sure. Are you cognizant of what it does? I mean, do you get into? I try to keep up with it, all that stuff. Sometimes it's difficult, but Cole's been really good about filling me in, like keeping me in the loop on things that are happening, and it's been cool to kind of be a part of all that stuff.
We'll stay right here in the middle with Jeff.
You were talking about going up front and trying to lead laps and win the race and all that stuff, but why aren't guys more conservative here? Because everybody I've asked about this, nobody's talking about dropping the back and staying out of trouble and everything like that. Why does everybody just feel like the best place to be is at the front?
I just feel like your odds are better. The closer you are to the front, the better your odds are of getting through a wreck when it happens. I've typically middle of the pack's where you don't want to be, but we've seen guys get run over in the back. We've seen, I think it was 2 years ago, Kyle Busch was maybe 4 or 5 cars from the very back of the field, and there was a wreck up somewhere up the front. He slowed down, got run into from behind, and he's crashed. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the right answer is, to be honest with you. I have not had a lot of success here in Cup racing. I was 3 for 3 at one point in my career here in Xfinity, and then it's just been one of those places it's been hard to figure out. I've been wrecked literally running second, going for the lead side by side with the leader. I've been crashed in the tri-oval. I've been crashed riding around the back trying to stay out of trouble, like Kyle had happened to him a few years ago. And so I think there just comes a point where you just say, to heck with it, I'm just going to go race and hope for the best. Because, I mean, aside from that, what can you really do? I still think the safest position to be in is to be the leader. It's really difficult to lead a lot of laps here. It's difficult to have a car strong enough to do what we've seen the 2-car do here in the spring race, leading a ton of laps. And I looked up at the TV monitor today, sitting on pit road, and he was still leading. So he's going to be strong, but that's the place you want to be. Everybody wants to be the leader, and I think that's your best option as far as just the more cars you can keep behind you, the better chances are that you stay out of wreck.
Martin, my understanding, following the Dover race, there was a plan for you to go and spend a little bit of time with your favorite football team. And that ultimately didn't work out because of some testing and other things that required your time. Just wanted to let you know that the team did get wind of that and wanted to send you a little bit of an extra good luck charm for this weekend. From the Philadelphia Eagles, we have a actual football that was used in the game where they beat the Steelers to death.
No kidding.
And your very own personalized number 78 Philadelphia Eagles jersey.
That's awesome. Thank you. That's awesome. That's pretty cool. The actual football?
That's the real deal.
Man.
I have the certificate to go with it for you.
Awesome. Sweet. Huh? Yeah, can I have number 1? That's awesome. I'm not quite big enough, am I? Well, that's awesome. I'm gonna have to send them a shout out on Twitter or something.
Good luck this weekend. Thanks for
you, guys.
joining us.
I appreciate it.